Big questions in college football this fall. I got one for you. If we're expanding this whole playoff, there are going to be 12 teams in this thing now. What happens to the patience of fan bases? Everybody listening to or watching this is a fan, so put your own team in the blank here. If you're an Auburn fan, if you're a Virginia Tech fan, if you're a Michigan State fan, whoever you are, thank you for watching. And if you are a fan of a team, now that there are 12 spots, it's not the case that all of a sudden everyone makes it, but it feels like a bunch of folks make the playoff now. So if all of a sudden you don't make the playoff this year, do you talk about your head coach different? And think about what NIL does on this front. Think about what the portal does on this front. So in other words, think about all these mechanisms. In reality, the sport hasn't changed all that much for any one given coach or any one given program because everyone has access to the portal. Everyone has access to using NIL. But no fan base feels that way. Fan bases look and they say, okay, now that we can use the portal, now that we can use NIL, we ought to get a leg up on everyone. I was sitting down with a general manager of a major program, and he said, you know, my biggest fear is our NIL money drying up. And this is a very deep-pocketed program. He said, my biggest fear is the fan base thinks they're contributing to the collective so that we leapfrog ahead of all these other schools. He said what they don't realize is we're having to get them to contribute just so we can keep up. So if they pay for a few years and then they see, oh, we're still just winning the same amount as we used to, they think we've squandered the money away. In reality, we haven't. We've actually properly utilized it. It's just everyone else was doing it as well. So be that as it may, I don't think fan bases look at it that way. I think fan bases look and say, hold up, you can go buy kids now? And there are 12 spots in this thing? And if we've got holes on the roster, you can just portal them in. You don't have to recruit and develop anymore? Well, there's no excuse to not be a contender every year. There are the same excuses there always were. You just got a different format out there. And so I look at coaches now. In years past, you study the history of this sport, guys like Frank Beamer famously getting over half a dozen years before they're at the 9-win plus mark, and then all of a sudden they go on a run. And the question, of course, is, would Frank Beamer even get that much time? Would any coach get that much time these days? Billy Napier is a perfect case study on that. How patient are they with him? FSU was patient enough with Norvell, and now it's working out for him. So I think by and large, man, that the bigger the salaries are, the more talent acquisition methods you have at your disposal, and the bigger the playoff is, the less and less and less patience there will be in the room. Now, that doesn't change reality. Reality is it takes what it takes. It doesn't matter what you think it should take or how quick you think it should happen. It takes what it takes. It takes as long as it takes. I just think there may be some guys that aren't around to find out because I think the leash gets much shorter once people think the job is easier. Is it easier? I don't know, but people think it is.